Margie, nice to see you.
How's your summer going?
It's going well. How
Yeah.
about-
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Luis?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, always have some cool glasses there, Suzanne. Mr. Chang, nice to see you here. David Chang only shows up for the AI sessions.
What's going on?
How's it going? I don't know about you guys, but who here is like really geeked out to all of this stuff? I could sit in these rabbit holes for like endless hours.
Chirag, I have a question. I was expecting an email from your team talking about the roles, right? What we discussed earlier this week.
The role play, we're waiting till the end of Monday. Well, there'll be something in a recap email that we'll send out. And then
Okay,
we'll send out a formal invite Monday so that we can give more people an opportunity to join.
awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Nancy, I saw your email and I'll get back to you today, but 100% we'll do it within the next 2 weeks. I believe you sent me an email. Maybe it was somebody else. Some of these OGs here. Mr. Hernandez, nice for you to join us. All right, cool. It's 12 o'clock on the dot, and we
Happy
shall
Friday.
get started. Happy Friday. So, look, here's our Ask Me Anything bonus session. So, look, one of the things that we all need to be really clear on is just some of the basics and how we get into everyday workflows and save time, right? So, number one, we'll have the dates, but the AI course will start, I believe, in 2 weeks from yesterday. So it'll be starting the third week, and we'll bring our laptops here and really customize our chat GPT. But there's certain little things that I find that are really helpful, that are hacks that I want to share with you, right? So number one, we all need to learn how to use the voice dictate function. Hit yes or no if you actually use the voice dictate right now.
I do it on my phone.
Same thing. All right.
Yeah. And it was a game changer once I started using it. It's like the best.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. For most of us, especially since we're salespeople, we talk better than we write. You know, I could write a good story, but like if I have to communicate an idea and type it, number one, I don't want, no one who wants to type something like this, right? You don't. But if you can talk, you can give better directions, right? So somebody give me an example of something they want to do in ChatGPT, and we're going to do it live.
Can we create one of those buyer profiles specifically? Like how do you create one of those buyer profiles for someone?
What, like the migration reports?
Like, you know, like in one of your passes,
Maybe like an onboarding form
onboarding form.
to understand what buyers' requirements are. Is that what you
Listen,
mean?
I'm on
Yeah,
a
something like
Zoom
that.
call right now.
Sure.
We actually have in our playbook a whole questionnaire, but all right, Mark, for the sake of that, that's applicable to everybody. So let me share my screen, and here's how I would do it. So I would open up my chat, and you see this little, hold on. You see this little button here that says dictate? That's going to be your new best friend now.
What is that orange thing next to it?
Oh, that's just a plugin I have. No, you don't have to worry about that. It's all right. So ready? I'm a Compass luxury real estate agent, and I'm meeting a buyer for the first time. My goal is to create an onboarding form so I could understand their goals, their expectations, their needs, their wants, their desires. I want to understand what they want in a home, features, benefits, the specific experiences they're looking for, the most important rooms, what they're looking for in a community, what their life is like on a day-to-day basis, and how that integrates actually into their home, distance, where their job is, what their ideal commute is, if they need to be near a train, do they want a backyard? Now, when you build out this form, I want you also, beyond the basics that you'd find searching on a website, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, price range, if they've been pre-approved, really get into the aspect of functional living. The goal at the end of this is to feel that as they're typing the information, that I really care and took the time to learn all the local nuances of their goals, their wishes, their expectations, the memories they want to have. Now, your output is building this out into a questionnaire that I can put into a Google form that I can send to a buyer. Now, think about how long they'd be able to type out, and I could never type out what I just said, right? So here it all is. Now I'm going to hit send. What are your weekends usually like? What kind of memories do you hope to create in a home? Hosting holidays? Are there any non-negotiables about a home that should function for your lifestyle? Location and commute. Where do you and your partner work? What is your ideal commute time? Do you need to be near? It wrote all the stuff out. Home features. Which spaces matter to you the most and why? Top features. Community and surroundings, emotional decision-making. This is a great start, but each section, such as lifestyle and daily flow, location and commute, home feature and feel, another area under 19 and 20, it says what matters most and why. There's nowhere to write any kind of information. Community and surroundings, emotional decision-making, you need to provide context on why that's important to them. Remember, communication without context is miscommunication. We need the context to integrate the form so it feels like one cohesive process that makes the buyer feel good in investing the time and they can clearly see the benefit. Mark, you like where this is going, buddy?
Absolutely. Very
By the
thorough.
way, we already have one that's
Very thorough.
way better than this.
Yeah.
But this is the whole point of this is to show you how easy this is to do. Now watch, the next prompt that I give you will blow your mind. David Chang, you're going to really want to write this one down. Look, your home should support how you live, not the other way around. These questions help me understand your routine so we can find a home that fits your lifestyle naturally. Where you live matters as much as how you live. These answers help us pinpoint not just the right house, but the right place for your lifestyle. This is where you bring your vision into focus. The more specific you are, the more aligned the homes I share will be. It's still got this wrong about adding in space, right? Community and surroundings. You're not just buying a house, you're joining a neighborhood. These questions help ensure your home aligns with the energy, amenities, and community feel you want. We share the recording, so you can just pull the prompts from the recording. Now, here's the one that you always want to use. Please review this document thoroughly and identify any blind spots that I might not be thinking about. And in the blind spots, include why they're blind spots, how you suggest fixing them, and how the blind spots ultimately would impact the buyer's experience in working with me. Because remember, this is one of their initial contacts. No confirmation of how they found you. Understanding how a buyer finds you, that doesn't matter. Lack of visual style preferences. Luxury buyers are often driven by design. That doesn't matter. No clarity on budget flexibility. While price range is asked, there's no follow-up about whether there's flexibility or what's most important, price or features, right? This is a good one. If we find a home that checks all the boxes that's slightly outside your range, how should I handle that? Show me anyway, only if it's everything I want, stick strictly to my budget. That is money in the bank right there, right? Emotional motivators. You asked about memories they want to create, great, but don't ask why now. What triggers the desire to buy at this moment? What's prompting you to move on the purchase? Well, we did the Med C, so this doesn't really matter. No questions around timelines or dependencies. When are you hoping to move in? Misses the important dependencies like school year timing, lease expiration, tax strategy. Are there any timelines, school schedule, lease ends, or financial windows we should be aware of? They'll feel you're proactive, organized, and helping them avoid stress. What success looks like. There is no invitation. There is no invitation at the end to let them paint a picture of what sex feels like in the process. Added fix. If this experience were perfect from start to finish, what would that look like for you? That's another great question. What happens after they submit? Once you submit the form, our person will review your responses and reach out within 24 hours, schedule a one-on-one vision session where we can walk through everything you shared in a line. Wow, a vision session sounds better than a buyer consultation, right? No engagement with investment. Even emotional buyers in luxury markets often care about the investment upside of resale. Is there added option? Is long-term value or potential real estate part of your buying criteria? E.g., I'm buying for lifestyle, but want a smart investment too. No acknowledgement of future needs. No ask for preferred communication cadence. Here it is. And we did all of that in 5 minutes.
Chirag, how can you take the like once that's all filled out, how do you get the ChatGPT to kind of remember who the client is who filled that out and can remember it?
You use that in a project, right? So let me go back to my screen. Now, if you fill it out, I'd start a new project. I'd say David Chang, right? We would use the buyer instructions that are going to be given in your week in review recap to put here. And all of the information that you have of a buyer, whether it's a document, a PDF, a pages, you upload it. Oh, excuse me. You upload it to the project file section. So for all of us, we want to think about the project file section as a knowledge base of our client. Let me say that again. The project file section is a knowledge base for our client. This is where all of the things that live with our client, right? So if I need to go back to influence somebody, or what did David say about his lifestyle preference? Or you can literally add a listing in here that says, how does this listing compare to what David wanted in his onboarding questionnaire? Now, based on that, write me 3 to 5 bullet points that I can put in a comment in a collection. You can come up with all your collection comments here. Literally, you find 5 properties you like, you go in there and you put the prompt in. Please write 3 to 5 bullet points, specifically how this aligns with his goals and expectations based on his buyer questionnaire. Now, the nice part about projects is everything you do in a project lives, let's go to Charlie's home search, lives all here, right? So I can see any of his past chats. All of those chats are factored in here. And this is why it's so important. Is projects available on the phone app? That's a good question. Let me see.
Yes, it is.
Oh, there you go.
I do have a question on the project app though. Projects. Before I knew about projects, I was kind of just had a lot of different searches. I guess with this situation, this questionnaire, would you have put that in a project or would you just keep that as a search, like in the sense of organizational aspect?
I would make every client a project.
I understand that, but this was to make a questionnaire. So this was a marketing thing, not necessarily.
No, I would not make that. I would not make that a project.
Okay.
Right now, here's the thing. If you're building this into a Google form, then yeah, I would leave it like that. But you know what? You could consider making it a project, and I'll tell you why. Because if you would like to update it, it's much easier to identify a project than it is to go into and search all these threads. Now, here's another thing. You could have a set questionnaire that's in your Google form, and you're going to say, I met my client, here's their med C. Now what's the word? Personalize this questionnaire based on what you know about them. Boom, done.
I'm
Sure,
not sure. Are you still sharing your screen, Chirag?
Guys, stop sharing it just so I can answer your question.
I have a question also. Would you recommend, this seems to be a long list that maybe could overwhelm somebody. Do you recommend to present this? This is the buyer consultation actually. Do you recommend doing this in person, or we just send the form and have them fill out?
You have to know your buyer, right? So there's a saying in life, don't play the game, play the man, right? So you have to know your people.
Yeah, I'm working with a lead right now, so I haven't met the person yet.
Then
So
I wouldn't send this to them if they're a lead. Like if they're a referral, that's fine, depending on how good the conversation is. But if I was going to send this to somebody that I didn't know, I would first ask a question like this. I would say, hey, Luis, how important is it for you, for the broker that you choose to work with, to know every detail, not only about your home search, your lifestyle, so that we could find the right homes for you based on as many things that are important to you? And they're gonna say, just like the question about like homes out of the price range. Yeah, it matters. It doesn't really matter. I know what I want. No, it's really important. Perfect. Let me take the time to build out a very personalized questionnaire. Now, I'm going to inform you in advance that it's going to take a good amount of that. It's going to take time to fill out, but ultimately, not what it gets me, what it gets you is the ability for me to tailor everything based on all the information you shared.
got it. Thank you.
Carol.
Yeah, I have a question about, you said you include documents in pages. My experience was that when I put page document into project files, it would say, I'm not sure if I'm gonna read it. And I always converted it to PDF, but it's like,
I
do
did a
you
pages
actually
one
put
and it
pages in?
worked. I did a pages one at work, but ideally, like you'd want to put a Word
Yeah,
document
okay.
if possible. They're more universal. Nancy, one second. Carol had
Oh,
actually.
so I was just gonna say for Luis, if you are going to meet with this person in person, which for a buyer consultation like this, I would prefer if they have time. You might send something like this to them in advance and say, these are the things we're going to go over. So it gets them thinking about the answers that they're going to give you during that consultation rather than, just sit there at the consultation and go, oh, I didn't think about that. What am I? So the consultation may take longer if you don't prep them for what your outline of what your agenda is during the consultation.
Thank you, Carol. This person I have already sent.
Luis, not to cut you off. I want to be mindful that there are a lot of people here. So connect
Okay.
with Carol, right? And let's keep our questions today focused on the AI portion. And if you have a question, you can always shoot us an email and we're happy to answer.
Okay, I was just going to reply to Carol, but that's fine.
All right, thank you. Nancy.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. So I happened to do an MLS seminar yesterday, and they happened to have some woman in there that was amazing doing a whole thing on AI, and it brought up, all of a sudden the dots are starting to connect. So she brought up some good points. So I just want to ask you, so I know there's a 4.0 and a 3.0. Are they the same? Am I supposed to work on one or the other?
All right, so let's try to simplify this. I'll explain to you what all the models are, right? Like O3 is generally for more thinking, but look, if you haven't mastered the basics, just stick with the 4.0 model, right? It's
I think I was on the 3-point model. And then when I joined you, all of a sudden, when I did everything and did the $20, it became the 4.0. So I'm backtracking.
O3 is advanced reasoning, right? We're not in anything we're doing, it's nothing to do with that. I want everyone just to stick with the basic 4.0 model to start out with, right? And
Okay.
if we build our AI muscles, we can start going into what's more useful and not the different models, right? But like even I
They
can tell
don't
you, like,
work together.
no, they're all like, think about it like this. They're all different employees with different thoughts, logic, and reasoning, right? So for everyday tasks, 4.0 is best, right? If you need something that has like multi-step, and a lot of these other models are made for like mathematics and coding and things like that, right? So
She had an amazing way of using it where I guess you get 10 free tasks, and she literally set up, like you could have a marketing expert, you could have somebody that does blah, 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 like as if they were her assistant. She created tasks for them. And then she could program it the night before so she could wake up and have, what social media am I going to
So
post?
that's ChatGPT operator, right? So if you have, I think depending on the subscription type, it's operator, where you could say, please research the top AI videos with the most views that have been posted in the last 24 hours and summarize the key takeaways and notes from each session. Or please pull once a week, please pull the top community events for kids under 10 in my area, and then in my voice right into a newsletter. But the challenge that I have with a lot of people that teach AI is it's like anything in life. You need a foundation to do your everyday tasks, right? AI is filled with more shiny pennies and distractions than anything you've ever seen in your life, right? Because like most people, it's like, does anyone ever remember the game Zelda from when they were kids or their kids, anything? Well, it was a game, right? In each game, you had to go to a level and you had to battle and you got different tools and shields. And there were warps. Like you can go from level 1 to level 7, but you go to level 7, you get slaughtered because you don't have the experience, the tools, and the things from level 1. So my goal for all of us is to learn the most basic fundamental ways to do the things that we do every single day in here. So it saves us time. It's more efficient. It creates a better product. It creates a better client experience, right? Those are all the things that really matter now. Will we get into marketing bots and custom GBTs and all these other things one day? Sure, right? Is it easier for me to create a custom GBT that I train it on everything that I've ever made on a listing so you guys can ask it questions and just get your answers? The answer is yes, right? So, we're all here for a year, and that's what makes a partnership great, is we'll keep evolving, right? So a lot of these people, when they teach features, benefits, and shiny things, but to actually get to that place where these things are built and that they're usable and that they make sense to people, there's so much stuff that goes before that. I'm not saying
Well,
it's bad, or I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just saying it's better to learn how to dictate, build your projects and buyers, learn how to pre-qualify, add your presentation, because that's stuff that's going to maximize your income opportunities now.
she also suggested, I don't know if this helps anyone or if you know this guy, to follow him on Instagram, Ruben Hassid, and that somehow you can do it through chat, which you can pull his information into your stuff. But I know that's in another whole category, but she said to follow him because he's like mastered it or something.
Yeah, look,
Anyways,
I think I always tell people this is decision fatigue, right? Remember we talked about that in our main session? The more different data points that you have, the more decision fatigue that you have. We've created a very specific system that works for agents here that we've tried, right? So if you start going, and I'm not limiting your education, telling you not to do things. I'm just saying you invested time, you're here. Take what you need to learn from here, master it, get really good at it, where you could do it in your sleep, and that you could delegate as much of it as you can to a virtual assistant. And then let's go keep learning new things, right? But the more different ways you have to do the same thing, it's like trying to cook grandma's meat sauce recipe. If you didn't know how to cook a recipe and you're learning it for the first time, and then you went to 10 other grandmas and they each gave you a recipe, you'd be more confused than when you started. Disclosures, right? Yeah, of course. Anything that you can summarize, you could put a disclosure in and ask it the same thing. Now, it's not going to replace your legal requirements to look at this, but it will at least be able to do a lot of the initial lifting for you. Now, remember, communication without context is miscommunication. If you put in a voice prompt that says, I need you to review these disclosures. These are the purpose. This is what I'm looking for. These are the red flags. If you don't know, highlight something, and you give it more direction, you'll notice a much better output. And once you figure out how to do that, you can just upload any disclosure to the chat, right? So something like that would be good to make into a project, right? A disclosure review thing, where eventually over time you learn to make really good instructions, and then you just keep uploading the disclosures, and each time you can make it a little better. Carlos raised his hand, and then Jody, we can talk about the Plod note, which I'm going to call on Chad to speak on our behalf because he seems to know more about this than anyone I've ever met in my life. Carlos.
Yes, Chirag, thank you. Is the following what you just was saying is for the ones that are we're beginning to, setting up, is there a baseline somewhere in the program that we can minimum requirements like device, what ChatGPT, like what we need to get us started and be.
You need a Plod note, which we'll talk about, and a $20 ChatGPT subscription.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Who had Jody? You had the Plod note question, and Chad, unmute yourself so you can answer it.
Can we talk about Plot a little?
Jody, what's your question?
I'll hop in. I have the Plod. I use the Plod AI to do a couple of transcriptions, like for meeting minutes and such. But my bigger question is, will we be using the Plod subscription or just using the audio files to drop into chat into the client files primarily?
So for me, I actually chatted with Plod about if I needed a subscription and such like that, and they said depending on how much you use it, just try what comes with it first, and I've been totally fine just using that. The Plod note was like, I don't know why I waited so long to get it, because the investment on it, just like ChatGPT, is like the return is just ridiculous. I have found it very useful. Most recently, I had a buyer and we did inspections. My buyer was in Philadelphia. I'm in California. They could not make it back out for inspections. I recorded. I let each inspector know that I was recording it. Sorry, my kids are playing video games. I was recording all the inspections, the wrap-ups, and I was able to, within minutes, generate a full report. I, of course, looked that over before I sent it, and then was able to send full transcripts, full recordings, and everything to my client. And they were like just so blown away. There's additional reports you can send, like a mind map that really organizes the overall interaction with the person, and it'll say like, okay, here's what we're talking about, and then it kind of branches out to each different topic and describes what you talked about in those scenarios. So I think that the Plod note is just a must-have, and then you can take all those things and you can upload them into your file for your client in ChatGPT, so that they have that information as well.
Thank you.
So
I'm very much
the other
loving
question-
it, but I'm still learning.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
a lot of this is learn and do, right? And I think the part that we all want to align around here, between the Plod note, ChatGPT projects, and all the resources that you get and what we're teaching you to do, you literally have an unfair advantage against everyone else. Nobody's doing this. Like nobody, right? And anyone that thinks like, oh, I have to spend time doing it, you're spending the time anyway doing something. There's no way our human brains, mine, yours, all of us combined, can analyze data in the same way AI can. Like, no way, right? Where else can you record something like this with a full inspection and give somebody the whole transcript, notes, a mind map, and everything else? Chad?
Yeah, and I'll also say for somebody like me who it's a lot easier for me to sit here and dictate to my phone what I'm trying to say in an email. Instead of typing an email, I will actually dictate it to my phone, and it'll then put it all in beautiful bullet points and organized. And then I will just upload that into my email and send it. That's a huge time saver with Plod Note as well.
Yep. So I think the other part is for this is it's just understanding that this is where the world is going and it's still so new. Like you literally cannot even keep up with all of these different platforms and Gemini and Anthropic and Gronk, and like it's mind blowing, right? So I've literally replaced all of my social media that I normally would look at, and I read about this every day, right? And my goal is to be a filter for all of us, right? So in our AI course, like many of you remember my AI avatar, Chirag AI, right? So when you talk about efficiency, for people who've been here longer, we used to spend hours building this long newsletter that's like this, right? So now we want to build something called a week in review, where you literally click there. There's like only a couple different buttons. A text like this, you hit the button. My AI avatar will give you a cool little 60 to 120 seconds recap. There's a button you could click that is a playbook, right? Who like the buyer and seller playbooks. It's much easier than having all these different resources. And all of the things from all of the sessions are there. And then there's a thing at the bottom where if you have a win, you could submit a win, because every month we'll pick 1 to 2 people and I'll do a free one-on-one session with them based on how interesting and how detailed their wins are. And look, like the goal of this is to build this systematically, right? So the same things that we're using and trying, we try them, we figure them out, then we share them with all of you. Because in the AI course, we're going to show you how to use these two things together. Because if you learn how to build a really cool AI avatar, do you know how many different places you can use that avatar? And you're not going to tell people like that this is Dawn or Nancy or David or Babs or Chad. No, you're going to say, hey, it's Shrug AI, right? And people are like, oh my God, that looks like she's really forward thinking, right? Remember, we show up to homes every day and like, I work at a real estate technology company. Great. How do you use the technology? Because if you show up with a stack of paper saying you work at a technology company, it's not really authentic in that way, right? So we will give you all of these different use cases, right? And here's another one. One of the best things to ask is, I'm looking to achieve this goal. I'm a real estate agent in this area. I'm looking to generate leads. Now, ask me questions one by one so you can understand my challenges, my pain points, my goals, and then build me a prescriptive plan that has all the details, all the instructions, and anything I need to be successful, as if I was a third grader or fifth grader, no knowledge, no experience, I could complete a task. That's it. Like you'll see that their processes, right? For all the people who have Plod Note questions, if you're interested in Plod Note, you should get, Jody should find somebody else that's asking a question and says, hey, can we do a Plod Note accountability session? I'm going to call you and let's figure out how to record the call together. Let's figure out how to do the summary together. Let's mess around in ChatGPT, the summary. Just do it with another person here. You don't have to do anything here alone. Like absolutely nothing. None. That's the benefit of learning a centralized system, right, Luis? Is because we're all going through this process together, right? People will hop in and help you where they can help you. But that takes a group commitment to all of us being together, to showing up, to sharing feedback, to sharing testimonials, sharing what's working, right? Chad clearly has figured this out really well. And every call somebody brings up a Plod Note, he's happy to share. Maybe we should, Chad, run a session just on Plod Notes.
Was that one of your Friday things?
What's that?
When did you do your AI avatar session? Was that like one of your Friday?
No, we haven't done it yet. So
Okay.
The third session.
Because that was actually was one of my questions, but I was going to hold off since I feel like you're doing the foundation. So, okay, cool.
So Chad, you know what we're going to do? We're going to bring you onto Real-Time Coaching Lab. Just shoot me an email and we'll do a whole coaching lab session on the Plod Note. And we're going to make you the Plod Note expert of America.
Sounds great.
So here's the thing. All of us have the same opportunity. If there's 36,000+ agents at Compass, not 1% of you knows what a Plod Note is. If you've not been here before, have you heard anyone else talk about a Plod Note? No, this is the weird stuff I'm telling you. I'm like obsessed with this stuff at night. Like literally I have an alarm on my phone that says, turn your brain and computer off. Because if not, I could be up till 3 o'clock in the morning doing this stuff all night. You could lock me in a room for 3 days. I'd be perfectly happy sitting in my office working. I remember this winter, over winter break, My partner, she went to see her family in Cuba. My kids were with their mom. And I literally sat here 10 hours a day by myself with just music blaring and complete peace, just doing work and creating. Like I want to be as helpful for all of you as I can. And like, I really look at this as a partnership. Like I really take that to heart. And it's like a 200-meter race. I got to figure all this stuff off and hand you the baton. You need to take the baton, do all the work, share your wins, help and support the community, figure out what we need to keep building next. And then I need to go build it and I need to go give it back to you. And that relay race is an infinite game that never ends. Because when you have this many people working together in the same direction, we all win so much faster. That's how this all really works. It's community above everything else. Because you can have all the training in the world, but like real estate's a really lonely business. You're like Robert wrote a whole book on this. Nobody succeeds alone. Right? So for today, what I want you to do is just be curious. Block 15 minutes of your calendar, hit that dictate button, and start dictating the craziest shit you can humanly think about and seeing how it responds. This is the best way to learn how to use ChatGPT. I have never taken a course in my entire life on this. I have no training. I did not go to school for this. I might be Indian, but I have no IT background, like none, right? So like it doesn't work unless you make it work, right? So for Sir, how do I pronounce your name? CZA, Serena? Did I say that right?
Good morning, Zarina.
Serena. Okay. You don't need to keep up with anything. I don't want you to like, if everything you do here is all that you do, you'll be massively more successful than 99% of people. Because the most important things, like the nice part about being here is I have like mental OCD where I'm incapable of doing the same thing over and over and over again and nothing changing because I believe the world changes now every week, every month, every quarter, every year. And as time has gone by over the last 5 years, it's sooner and sooner. So I'm obsessed by integration into what's next here. It is my job to worry about the right trends and integrating them into here for all of you. All you need to do is show up for one session a week, go to one accountability session, and practice 15 to 20 minutes the rest of the week. That's it. Don't go to any other trainings, go to your sales meetings. We do all the Compass stuff, and you just need to learn the process. That's it. Like, and I promise you that that small bit of time commitment every week over time turns out to be massively successful. Because in 17,000 hours of talking to entrepreneurial agents at Compass, nobody practices. People still can't answer the same objections. People have no process. People have no system. And they try to do way too many things with technology that they get overwhelmed and they just don't do anything. Heather.
Yes, hi. So my biggest thing is you can get in and you can make all these prompts and do all these chats. Best system to organize it from the beginning. So is it just your buyer, each one of your clients, building a project for each of them, and then seller, buyer, listing? Like, what's the best way to start out from an organizational standpoint so that I just don't end up with endless chats?
I would do the projects, right? 100%. You muted yourself again, Heather.
Yeah. No, I mean, I understand the projects. I guess I'm looking for headers for each of those so that there's some sense to them. Do we have any suggestions on that?
Yeah. So for sellers, I would put the address, right? Because that's how you generally think of listings. And for the buyers, I'd put their names.
Can you do projects inside of projects?
What do you
Because
mean?
for some clients, I have multiple.
No, you cannot do that.
Okay, thanks.
You notice how quick other people are here to respond to questions. It's amazing, right? And part of my encouragement to people staying in one track is over 12 weeks, you get to really know somebody. right? You get to connect them. Like you'll see in the 5th tab of what our newsletter is, Justin and I are doing a whole Med C class for sellers, right? And like not class, role playing. But if you put your name and you actually can follow the directions and read our emails, we've cut them down a lot, and literally it's only the things you need to know. But if I were going through this, I would find 3 to 4 people and be like, all right, can you role play on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? And I do that for 12 weeks. I'd have a personal relationship with all of them at the end, right? Then if I repeated the session, I would sit down and be like, hey, you guys want to repeat? Look, there's 183 tasks on the seller side alone. Do you think you're really going to learn all of that and become great master ninjas at it in 12 weeks? Maybe if it was the only thing you had to do in life. This is the most complicated business in the world. In the world. If you think about a system, it generally solves one issue. A real estate system has sales, marketing, customer service, technology integrations, and we want to include AI into it. That's really challenging, right? And in the same way, sales, marketing, customer service, technology, and AI are 5 different jobs at a corporate company, right? Then you have to be like the chief people officer, a people manager, compliance, accounting, CEOs. You would never hire the same person to do any 2 of those jobs. Never. So give yourself the gift of time and patience. 15 minutes every day. You know, when you're sitting at an appointment before when your clients are always running late, or you get there a little bit early, right? You can just literally go on here and just mess around with it. My kids are 9 and 11. What my 11-year-old knows how to do on here blows my mind. My daughter, if she doesn't know how to do anything, she asks me for my phone and says, Daddy, can I use your camera? She goes on there and says, how do I do this, and explain it so a 9-year-old can understand. She knows how to do it. My son was able to take an entire list of summer activities, build a budget, a map, their docs are connected. Like anyone can do this. Can we have the same ChatGPT account on laptop and cell phone? Yeah, you can just log in through your email. Inside of a chat, okay, so this is where it's showing.
Also, just want to add on to Heather. I'm preaching, but I don't do it. But I did ask ChatGPT to like help me organize it because I have so many chats, and they gave me ideas of like what main projects are. And so, but I think Chirag's about to answer my question. Is I'm 98% positive whatever's in that project, they feed off of each other, and so they're able
Yes, they
to
do.
go
So
back.
this is the knowledge base. Every chat that you have, like every time you start a new chat, if you refresh it or if it updates in real time, it will all show up here. So all of these things are organized, right? So look, we just hired a new consultant for our business. I shared with her how to do this. I told her she had to get a Applaud note as part of working here. Even if we're not on a Applaud note, record the conversation on an iPhone, and filled all of this in here. And we came up with instructions to use together, right? So we're doing the same thing you are. Like literally, it's like mirrors, except I'm a couple steps ahead, right? So I sit here, I try new things. If I think it's applicable to real estate, because I sold real estate, I figure out how it all works, all of you, and I hand it to you in a gift wrap bow. I don't want you to think, I just want you to do. I want you to spend less time figuring out and more time practicing and implementing, right? That's the name of the game here. All right, so we have a few more minutes. Does anyone have any questions related to AI?
Chirag, I think a big part of ChatGPT is the knowledge base that it knows about you. I think for people that are just joining or have never used it, can you explain to people how you put it in so that it knows everything about your business, or creating a prompt around that aspect?
Yep. So I wouldn't even go to a prompt. I would go to the voice dictate function, right? So look here, let me do this here. Let me just share my screen, and that's a great question. All right. Let me go new chat. So you see there's this little circle here. Oops. On the top right-hand side, you click this, it's a temporary chat. So none of this stuff will be committed to my ChatGPT memory because I'm not trying to hijack my stuff. But you can also go in here and delete memories and look at what it knows about you. But we'll go more into this in our first ChatGPT session. So my goal of this thread and this conversation is that you learn everything about me, my business, my clients, my voice, the technology, what brand I work for. And I need you to be able to commit this to your blank, you know what the word is, so that everything going forward is personalized based on this information. When you're done asking all the questions, I want you to give me step-by-step instructions on where to put it specifically within here so you reference this prior to giving me any recommendations. This is it.
So would you create a project for that so that if you ever
No.
really, you wouldn't?
No,
Okay.
I would do this within here.
And so are you, because that was a question, am I supposed to save all my chats and let it recognize them or do
Just leave
them?
them. Don't delete them, right?
Well, I know that
Right.
there, somehow when I set up my new thing, it got to where it's not saving them. So I want to save them.
They all should be on the thread here on the left-hand side.
Yes.
So that means they're still there.
But you had where it would not save it. There's a.
Oh, temporary chat. I hit temporary chat here. I did that on purpose.
So what does that do? What's the difference?
So you know Google, like, do you know Google incognito mode where like it doesn't save your browser history and search?
Yeah.
This is the same thing, right? So there are certain things like if I'm using this for a client, right? So I had a one-on-one coaching call and we went through like a whole elaborate plan that we built on here. I did it in temporary chat because I don't want it going to the memory of like my actual chat GPT. I learned this the hard way. It thought like I have a client I work with who's also a Compass agent, Michael Neal, who's a former NFL football player. I don't know what I did in this thing because this was like when I first started, it thought I was Michael Neal. Right. And I'm like, oh, so you want to be mindful of when you use temporary chat and when you don't use when you use the temporary chat and when you like actually just do things in your regular chat GPT. Does that make sense?
Well, wait, okay. So if you have a client and they're in a project and you're doing it in that project,
That's fine.
It's remember everything in the project. It won't roll over to your regular chat.
Correct. That's how I
It could be.
But I would ask anything you want to do, like from Jessica's example, right? I'm going to go through all these questions and I'm going to say, okay, great. Now give me instructions on how I program this into ChatGPT so that it does blank, blank, but it'll tell you, right? So it's like any question you have, like literally you just use the voice function in the same way you ask this to me, you could ask it into ChatGPT and it'll provide an answer. It's pretty cool.
I have one more question
Just to
about the
piggyback
plot.
off of that, I kind of use ChatGPT now as Google. Like if I don't understand how to use an app, like if I'm trying to use an app and I can't figure it out on Google, I'll ask ChatGPT, can you show me how to switch the settings over to X, Y, and Z?
I just wanted to ask him because he's easier, but I also on the plot, do you do note take or record when you're doing for what we're doing for the buyers and the sellers? Which function are we supposed to be doing? Because I did a little YouTube video on it and there's a record and there's a note take.
So you can record, I've recorded the raw transcript because that's what you want. And then after that, and it processes, it can process it into like a whole variety of different notes.
Well, it seemed like there was two ways to record it when you're actually recording the questions for the seller or.
So here's the thing. Who
is
here
it note
wants
take or
to,
is it?
Jody Warner, where are you?
I'm here.
Jody Warner, Nancy Gerber, meet each other, share your emails and a thing, and both of you are going to get on a call for 30 minutes and you're going to both do this with each other and you're going to find a workflow that works for both of you. And this way, it's the best way to go through the functionality.
It's fun. It's fun to learn. I said that in the comments earlier. It's just nice to be learning something new.
Yeah,
Real
totally.
estate's exhausting.
There'll be no shortage of new things to learn here, right? Because a lot of this is new to all of us. And I think that's the part that we need to give ourselves like a little more graces that I find, right? If you don't know how to do something, reach out to somebody who knows how to do it or learn it with somebody else here, right? I can't keep up with all the plot updates because I have a lot of other things that we obviously have to do here for all of you. Chad, which function do you use when you record the conversations?
I'm just recording, and then after I record it, I just hit process it, and then it just spits out all these different options of how it can transcribe it, and then I can choose which ones I want to send to a client. I'll have to look at the other one though, the note taking.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
I see that there are several chat GPTs and I cannot match the same one from the cell phone to the laptop. Are you able to give us a
So-
link to the correct one?
No, I can in the App Store, but I can tell you
The one
that
you
what you're
use.
saying is completely correct, right? So here, let me just show you this from my phone.
No,
There are a lot of ones that like look like it, right?
yes.
So you see this one here with the white circle and it says Open AI on it. The official, it says underneath it, the official app by Open AI.
I do, and that's the one I have on my cell phone. However, when I go look on the laptop, it doesn't show me the exact same one.
We need to make sure that you're logged in from the same email account.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the App Store on my laptop.
So that's a good thing you sit down with your AEM, but look on the top right-hand side to where,
I just go into chatgpt.com and I'm logged in with the same email. I don't actually have an app on my MacBook.
yeah, you don't need to download a desktop app. I don't even have the desktop app. I just go to chatgpt.com as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Nomita?
So my question is, as Chad said, he does it all audio and then he sort of transcribes it or it gets done. Is there a way also to edit that? So sometimes, you don't want certain things going out to the client.
Yeah, and I think you absolutely need to do that. Once you choose the option of what you want, the different formats it offers you.
Can you explain which the different formats are, please, Chad?
Well, so I'd have to open it up and look at it. And I want to be respectful of the time here, but like if you want to send it in a PDF or you want to break it down into a transcript in like a note, like for example, I'll pull it over to my email or something, or I'll open it up on my computer and then I'll read through it and I'll edit anything that needs to be taken out. I also definitely send the actual recording with it so that there's no confusion. Like, oh, if I took something out that was in the recording, I'm not trying to hide anything, stuff like that.
Look,
So I definitely go through and edit it.
I would,
Okay.
to Jody's point, just go on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Or go
Yeah.
into ChatGPT and say, this is what I'm looking to use a Applaud note for. I need prescriptive directions on how to do it. The only way that you're going to learn how to use ChatGPT, the Applaud note, or anything is just going in here and you literally need to know yourself what all the buttons do, right? And the fastest way to learn things like this are on YouTube. Jody put a link to a great video in there, like 7 tips to get started. So
That was Tara, giving Tara the credit, but there are so many great videos, and Nomita, I know you, we're friends. Really and truly, once you get it, it's so user friendly, and I had a lot of questions before I got it.
Thank you, Jody. I'm going to reach out to you. You know that.
So
yeah, YouTube or learn by doing. I mean, that's how I just sat here and played with it myself, not doing anything for anybody. And that's how I figured out how to use it and all the different features of it.
So
Thank you, Chad.
for everybody, I recommend to do this. One, learn and do. And if you have questions about those specific products, reach out to them. They all have help. They all have support. You guys are all customers there, and they'll be the best ones to guide you through it. But I don't even think anyone needs that. You just need to go into YouTube and watch a 5 to 10 minute video and literally take the thing out and do it at the same time, right? Or if you are Jody and Nancy, they're going to connect with each other, right? Like watch the video together and then do it together. Right? So you can use any AI in the world. Ours is built within ChatGPT. That's the easiest one to use. It's the one that I find gets updated the most. And it's kind of like, I would say, like the Google of all this stuff. right? All of these different things all have different benefits, from Claude to Perplexity to Anthropic to Gronk to Gemini. If you had to sit here and try to figure out which one to do which with, you would never do anything at all because it's just overwhelming. I can tell you what the platforms are for, but I still just try to use this one because I know that 90% of what I need is there, right? If you want to go into anything to venture into data analysis and stuff like that, Perplexity is really good. But I find like when you have a good ChatGPT base, you can go into that one. Cindy?
I think most of the agents are on ChatGPT, so I think what it's pulling from is a wider base than Gemini or the others. I think, I mean, there's more information that it's pulling other agents in there, so I think you're getting a better. Because I've tried using it in Grok and it doesn't have the same. It's not as for what we do. I think there's more realtors in Grok or in ChatGPT, and it's just a better program for it in general. Is my experience.
I agree. And I'll leave you on this note, and we have to jump. I have another call in 5 minutes, is that they're now launching a search engine, right? Like to compete with Google. And what they really want is user data, right? So the more people that are using ChatGPT for search and the internet and stuff, the better these responses are going to get. The thing that Gronk has that these other ones don't is all of this information in Twitter, which is like real. It's like the most accurate news in many ways that you can find in real time. So one more question, Igora, I hope I'm saying that right. Raise your hand up. All right, everybody.
Sorry about that. I was muted. My fault. No, it's Iggy or Igaro. So I got a quick question, and I don't know if this was already answered or if I'm a few steps ahead, but for AI virtual staging, like, do you recommend any specific platform? Because they charge us too much money for this
You can do
photo.
it in chat. You can do it in ChatGPT.
I actually have tried it, but the problem with ChatGPT, the dimensions of a room sometimes gets changed. They make the room look bigger, or they just change the room somehow.
In that case, Iggy, it's just a matter of just reprompting it over and over and over again, and then figuring it out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
On that note, I think this was an amazing way to end the week. And look, it's just week one of a 52-week journey for many of us. And so those of you who have been here, thank you. For those of you who are new to here, thank you. And look, we have lots of fun things and bonus sessions. And, I want to do just like a Zoom meet and greet happy hour one day in the next couple of weeks, right? We'll just invite everyone, break out into rooms. I'll give you like a quick format of how to just get to know each other. And there's lots of different things that we'll be doing. And look, one of the most important things for us as a company as we go forward is really building out community and connection amongst all of you. So that is one of my top 3 things I'm focused on. So just keep leaning in, keep getting to know each other. There's so many great friendships, relationships, referrals that are passed in here. And look, you guys are part of history. No one has ever worked in one system built into technology. I met with Rory's chief of staff, who also used to work on the growth team, and we showed him what we were doing, Summer and I. He's like, I don't even have any words to say. He's like, how long did this take you to do? I'm like, 6 months, right? And you need so many different pieces. And you're the first people in the entire history of real estate that's going to have access to a system like this. So it's just going to make your life so much easier, right? So like, let's all just make the commitment to avoid decision fatigue, just lean in, just follow the path. We put a lot of thought into it. And just remember, everything you need is inside of here. Everyone you need is on these Zoom screens. And that's why I encourage you all to just turn your screens on, right? Like, let people see you, let people know you, let people know what market you work in, right? Connect with each other outside of the sessions. And that's where the magic happens. So love my heart, love you all. Have a great weekend. 10 a.m. tomorrow, your local time. Look at our first recap. It's revamped, and shoot us this message and let us know what you think. And remember, give us your wins Saturday, because we had to get all the sessions through, and then we'll go back to our Thursday cadence from next week. All right. Bye, everybody.